Hey, everybody. Remember us? It's been a long time. This is Overfilled the podcast. And
Woo!
it's been a while, but we're back and we're going to do a better job of getting these out more often. I am one of your three hosts, Jason Jedlicka, and I am joined by my other optometry specialty contact lens besties, Brooke Messer and Jamie Kuzner. So, welcome to our episode. We were just contemplating before this started how long it's been since we've done an episode. And believe it or not, it was a year ago yesterday that we did our last episode. So, promise it won't be that long again. As we get our feet back under us doing podcasts, we're going to start today by a review of GSLS. But first, as always, we're going to talk about what overfills us.
Yeah, so we had challenges connecting over the last year because our wow, it's been a long time. Our clinic schedules have changed, and so we no longer had an hour during the week to connect at the same time, which is why we had issues making more podcasts. But now we found another time where we can reconnect. So maybe that alone is overfilling for me. But GSLS was great. It was great to see you both, as well as our other specialty lens colleagues. But of recent being overfilled, my 9-year-old daughter, Nora, she's in a basketball team and I've been helping coach with that. And so it's been really fun to kind of relive all the things that go along with little travel basketball teams and the coaching and everything. And brings me back fond memories of when my dad coached me as a kid. And so that's what I've been enjoying the last couple months.
That's awesome. So precious. My dad used to coach me too for years and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's been.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess since it's been a year, there's like so many things that we can talk about for Overfilled. I think the thing that was so cool that the three of us got to do is all three of us did an international lecture last year in Poland. So that was wonderful that we got to travel as our three Overfilled besties over to Poland. And we popped over to Prague and then Paris with Brooke and her husband and me and my husband. So that was super fun. And things are just getting so much busier for us, which is why we've had harder to reconnect. Elevate is growing a lot in my practice. I'm seeing patients 5 days a week, which is a lot, which is why I also need an associate. So, hey, shout out if anyone wants to be in Michigan where it's currently 2 degrees. We'd love to have you.
Wow. See, that alone is worth listening to this podcast over. You just got a great job opportunity you dropped. So.
There you go. I have a student now from Indiana University, so that's been fun. So yeah, we're just growing so fast. So that's kind of been my overfilled year in a whirlwind.
Nice. Well, again, I would second the notion of coaching. I loved coaching my kids too. That was one of the best parts of being a dad, and I loved our time in Europe. But I have to defer to something that's been going on here last week because it is IU National Champions. Tomorrow's the parade right before this blizzard hits. So it's been fun here. Crazy year in Indiana with our Hoosier football team. So it's been a lot of fun. So that's my overfilled, is getting to have a national championship here. I never thought when I came here 11 years ago that I would ever be celebrating a national championship football when I was here. So, but it's pretty cool.
Are they really having a parade tomorrow?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a massive snowstorm for you guys this weekend,
no,
right?
not till 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So we have time. We'll squeeze it in before the snow hits. Right.
It's so crazy. Yeah. Welcome to the Midwest,
But all the players have been doing like autograph appearances all over town at the sporting goods stores and at some of the different department stores and Walmart and Target and places. And people are literally camping out, around the block the night before to get in line to get autographs. So it's fun to see how it's all going. Yeah. Good times. So anyway, Jamie, what are we going to talk about today? Tell me.
Sure. So we thought it would be a great topic to talk about our takeaways from GSLS 2026, which was early this year, beginning of January, which was kind of hectic with the holidays and everything as well. So some of our key takeaways. So I feel like every time I go to GSLS, I'm sitting in the lectures, and my key takeaways are always more questions versus
Mhm.
answers, because there's so many things in the industry that we don't know. So I'm always watching lectures and thinking, wow, that'd be a really good study. Someone should figure this out. And if you ever sit by the three of us, I'm very sorry, because we're annoying in the
Yes,
lectures,
you are.
especially if I'm sitting next to Jason, because we're constantly like, oh my gosh, that would be a great study. This is how
Mhm.
we should do it. So we're always those people that are quietly talking amongst themselves. But it's about the lecture. It's always about, wow, that's a great
Yeah,
topic.
or at least
That's
we're
a
talking
great
about the
topic.
lecture.
We should totally do a research and look into that, or have patients do this, and this is how we
We
would
need
do
to do
it.
a
And
podcast on that.
oh my God, we need to do a podcast on that. Oh my gosh, we need to study, IOP and a scleral more. We need to study like all these different things all the time. So I always come back like inspired. But then I get back to my office and I'm like, wow, I'm drowning in patients. I have no time to do this
Yeah.
research.
Mhm.
Um, I also, I saw a really cool prosthetics lecture, which was great. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Some new ideas that I hadn't learned about. I didn't even know they existed. So I mean, to me, prosthetics is a weak spot in my practice, just because the lenses take so long and the patients get so angry and they're so expensive. So I was hoping that would like rejuvenate my passion for that little niche area of specialty lenses. So that was a really good lecture. So shout out to those docs to cover some of those lesser talked about topics that aren't just scleral
Mhm.
lenses.
Mhm.
So that's what I enjoyed the most.
And I thought that you guys, Jason and Jamie, were on a panel together talking about like how we utilize research in clinical practice. And I thought you guys did a nice job of just summarizing on like how to look at a study and make sure that it's reputable and trustable, I guess, and to use in clinical practice, as well as just like talking about like, is it important in clinical practice? Like certainly like research tells us a lot, but sometimes it doesn't necessarily change the way that we spend our time in clinic with our patients or how we fit lenses. It's just like, continues to affirm or negate things that we thought we knew. And those things are important, but sometimes it doesn't change the clinic day. And so I thought you guys had a really nice panel lecture with Dr. Shornack, and Dan Fuller, right, was with you guys?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so I thought that was good, a good lecture to attend. Jason and I had a nice lecture too, so I hope we get feedback on it. I thought that our lecture went really well. It actually featured cases that were from the podcast, and how fun would it be to be able to like bring
Yes.
back? We called it call-in conundrums, and to be able to bring back cases every year to the GSLS program. And the reason that we thought that was really neat is because it's things that people deal with and want to know more about, like cross-linking in scleral lenses or managing lens decentration, or even just highlighting customizations that we can do that maybe people had never thought about before. So I thought that was like a nice little highlight for GSLS. But when it comes to clinical takeaways, even though this doesn't apply to me like clinically all that much, I don't know if I was or was not surprised at the amount of talk around myopia control spectacles. Because even though it's a lens symposium, myopia control still falls in those of us that do specialty contact lenses and myopia control contact lenses. Spectacles still the spectacles there still can fall under us, but it's a big win for eye care in general to have like it open to the masses to offer something. And so I thought it was interesting just to see some of the data, more data around myopia control spectacles, because they've been talking about it for so long. Jason, we were in practice together. How long ago was that when they were talking
Mhm.
about, oh, we're next year, next quarter, next year,
Mhm.
we're going to have these
Yeah.
myopia spectacles. And now 10 years later, here we are finally having access. And now it's a race to, having more access with other brands and things too. So I really enjoyed just learning more about the myopia control spectacles as a way that I can just educate parents on like, hey, I do the contact lenses. We don't have an optical in my practice, which is why I wouldn't do the spectacles. But at least I can say like, here's where your kid's at. And it makes sense to do the spectacles. So I'm going to send you back to your doctor or to this provider who can do that. Or let's do the contact lenses. And so I enjoyed learning about adding that in.
Mhm.
I've been using those because I do have an optical. Every single one of my parents I've told about those glasses have bought them, every single one. So I think it's been a great tool in the toolbox, and I also think it's going to give a lot of publicity to myopia management. because let's face it, Essilor has a lot of money, and they can push out a lot of data to the parents. You know what I mean? So it's not a bad thing. Yeah, it's not a bad thing for the specialty lens world at all. I think some people worry it's going to absorb their ortho-K patients or their MiSight patients. And I disagree. I think it's going to elevate the entire industry, and it's just going to add, more reputable data out there, and parents are going to come in saying to hear about it, and then you can tell them about all the different options, and it's just whatever fits the kid the best. I mean, I have a kid coming in next week that we tried ortho-K last year. He is on the spectrum. He freaked out with the feeling of a lens on his eye. But now we're going to do the spectacles. Like, that's the better option for that child. It doesn't have to be, oh, too bad your kid can't wear contacts. It's atropine. So there's more options. So I'm excited about it as a high myope and someone that sees kids of all ages. So yeah. I think it's great.
So can I ask you, Jamie, since you guys are selling them now, what's the price point on the myopia control spectacles versus what you'd put a kid in normally? Single vision, poly, or whatever material you'd put them in versus the myopia control spectacles.
Yeah, so right now in the United States, we only have Stellus, and they're only making it in poly with Crizal Easy Pro. Like, that's it. Like, you can't make it in plastic, and you can't make it with like different ARs. Like, it's literally one bundled lens. Okay, so it kind of makes it easy because it's not like, do you want blue light? Do you want this? Do you want transitions? It's just, this is the lens. So their MSRP, if it's private pay, is like $450 to $500. At first, at the beginning, it was tricky with insurance plans, but now iMed, Spectera, and VSP all have different ways that they, figure out the copays. Usually, depending on the plan, the patient's paying between like $200 to $350 for the lenses, plus frame, which usually is covered anyway. So it honestly is a lower price point. I mean, you're not going to be able to get an ortho-K lens for that. You're not going to be able to get a MiSight lens for that. So it's a good approachable price point. The other thing that's good too is if
you're talking about the vision plans now. What if I don't have a vision plan? If I'm paying,
then the lens is $450 for the lenses
plus the frame.
So plus the frame, which usually kids' frames are pretty inexpensive. So still a good price point. The nice thing that they are offering also is if the kid's prescription changes by a half a diopter within 6 months, they'll remake the lenses for free. So I tell the parents that, and that kind of encourages them to do their mid-year check, because with myopia management, sometimes the parents are like, do I really need this check? So I'm telling them, like, hey, you need to come to this check, because if it does change, you can get your free lenses. Everyone likes a free thing. So it kind of incentivizes them more. And then it also kind of, the parents, because they get worried, like, what if I make this investment and then my kid's prescription changes, I have to pay again? It's I like it. I mean, I haven't had any pushback on it. So it is a lower cost thing. So that's why, I don't think myopia management should only be for rich kids. I just don't. I want access to be there for everybody. I know it's not completely covered or free, but it is a lower price point. Non-invasive, they just wear it like glasses. So it's been a good, or I have some kids that honestly didn't want to wear MiSight every single day. Then guess what? If you're wearing MiSight, half the day, you're going to be wearing Stellus the other half.
Yeah.
So it just gives you a better, better treatment option for them. So
what about,
that's what I've been doing.
What about for the kid who's like a -5? Only having a lens come in poly. I mean, ultimately, they've got to fix that.
It is kind of a bummer.
They've got to come up with materials that are better. Although, again, kids' frames are pretty small usually.
But for safety anyways, I usually put kids in poly for impact resistance. I think that's like illegal. Some states, it's like a legal requirement. I mean, it depends on how old they are, right? So
I don't prescribe poly to anybody. That's a whole nother episode. I don't prescribe poly ever.
I don't prescribe glasses. Yeah.
Goodness.
I hate
but
poly.
Also, kids' frames are small. Also, the big thing too is that you need to have a frame that's centered. Their pupil needs to be centered as much as possible in the frame. And if it's centered in the frame, the lens is going to be thinner anyways at the edges. So as long as you get a good fitting frame, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
They're not doing some crazy like oversized sunglass, fancy metal frame like the adults are doing. So,
What? Why not?
I know, right?
Good.
I
Well,
know it's a
tangent.
great topic. We can do it tangent. Yeah, we can do a totally different episode about myopia.
Jason, can you tell me about your takeaways from GSLS?
I can. I can say that I had a great time going out to dinner with you guys. Oh, wait. You mean from the conference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that a lot of the theme was kind of standard fare. There's a good bit of myopia control. There's a good bit of scleral lens fitting, how to do it better stuff. Less and less about other, like corneal GPs. Not a lot about corneal GPs other than Ortho K. But just again, I think HOAs were one of the stars of the show. I think it's one of those things, especially if you walk through the exhibit hall, there was a lot of posters that dealt with HOAs too. And I think definitely something that is, on the forefront for specialty lens practice, and it's only going to get more. So I was actually going to count up how many presentations there were that talked about HOAs. I didn't get through the whole agenda, but at last point I had at least 5. So there were several presentations that talked about that. And so that's pretty cool. Obviously we presented posters and talked about it ourselves some, and we do a lot, and everybody got their Trailblazer Award for our group. Yes, thank you. Overfilled, all 3 of us in the top 10% of HOA fitters.
Yeah, I can you let me present, Jason? How does that work?
Well, you want to add this to the stage?
There you go. Yeah. So I just, I didn't know that you got your 10% Trailblazer, so I would have gotten a picture with you, but
Oh, you're fine.
Jamie and I got our plaques, and it was kind of fun to have Ovitz there to present it, and it was fun. And then I think Jamie, you might have even taken this picture of Jason and I as we were getting ready to take the stage for our lecture, and then a nice espresso martini. It wouldn't be a meeting between us if we didn't grab an espresso.
Especially in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and we were able to join Danielle from Bausch & Lomb for that one. And then we also had a great lunch with Melissa Chavez talking about troubleshooting all things cross-linking and asking care for patients. And so that was a really good conversation as well, which I think, we've maybe talked about cross-linking previously, and the importance of, the mind shift change in managing patients with keratoconus. But I think it's worth talking about again, especially with the new stuff that not only is coming, that has recently, Epioxa being FDA approved for Epion cross-linking, but also what's coming down the pipeline. There's just so much good stuff coming down the pipeline on cross-linking. And so that might be a good one to talk about sometimes too. So I just threw these together for all of us to
love it.
Yeah. And because I made the slideshow, I'm in every picture.
You're funny.
Well, we'll get rid of that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's again, that's just a plug for GSLS too. I mean, it was at Paris this time, and other than being hideously expensive, it was very nice, and the conference area was great. And I would just encourage you, anyone listening, if you haven't been, to go, because we talk about all the good stuff on the program and all the possible learning, but like Jamie said, the best part in so many ways is the way it stimulates you to think outside the box and to think of new things and to come back with new ideas for your practice and just for ways you can provide better patient care. But also the networking, the dinners where you get to meet people. It's just as good as it gets from a meeting standpoint. Yeah.
And it's also so cool to be with industry that maybe you've never met face to face. Like maybe you've used these lenses forever, and it's cool to see someone who's like on the phone, that you call a consultation and like, oh my gosh, you get to meet them. Or if you have a lot of questions that maybe you've wanted answered, you can just go up to their booth and talk to them. Or it's always great like seeing Ovitz, because we've been doing so much research and work with Ovitz. It's nice to like reconnect in person. You know, GSL is such a small, intimate meeting, and everybody there just loves specialty lenses, and so you can just nerd out and meet
Yep.
people from all over the country and
Yeah, you
share
definitely
ideas.
you get your dose of nerd at the meeting.
Yes.
You come back.
And I see you're wearing the shirt you got from the
Yeah,
meeting.
so I wanted to
I did notice that.
shout out to GPLI and the shirt that I got from their booth. So I love that. And if you're a contact lens lover, it would be hard to not also be a lover and supporter of GPLI too, because they do a lot for those of us in specialty lenses and the future of specialty lenses as well. We have about 5 minutes left, and I was thinking maybe we've gained a lot of followers just through our connections over the last year, and it'd be maybe nice for Jason, if you could tell us about the inspiration behind Overfilled and like why we're called Overfilled the podcast. And then Jamie, could you tell us how people can get involved with our podcast after?
Sure.
Yeah. So again, the inspiration was just the three of us love to hang out. So we were looking for an excuse. But honestly, like between me and Brooke and Jamie, you've got like the generations of specialty contact lens. I'm the old guy, and Brooke is kind of like young middle, and Jamie is like young. And so we cover the spectrum of experiences and practice modalities and everything when it comes to specialty contact lenses. So we kind of felt like maybe we had something to offer to everybody within the contact lens, specialty lens space, I guess, with our experiences when it comes to fitting patients, going to meetings, speaking, writing, etc. And then, beyond that, what we wanted to do was we created this not just to talk about specialty lenses, but to talk about the whole lifestyle of the specialty lens fitter. Because if you are already one, you already know this, but your patients can, be the biggest pain in the rear. But we love them anyway, because that's what we thrive on, is trying to make the best of difficult situations for our patients. But also the connections you build with patients. It's pretty unique. It's pretty unique. You don't get to do that. Like, I don't think most ODs get to connect on such a deep level with their patients as we do when we fit specialty lenses, because we deal with a lot of vulnerable people who have a lot of needs, and we see them a lot, and we just get to connect. So Overfilled is about the way being a specialty lens fitter overfills our lives, but it also refers obviously to the scleral lens, the way we overfill it with saline when we pop it on.
Yeah.
So it just seemed to have a beautiful dual meaning, and that's kind of how Overfilled came to be. And our goal really was just to connect with, everyone from the beginner, the student, the resident, the new practitioner, all the way up through the experienced practitioner. And we really want to connect with you and have you all participate. And Jamie, why don't you tell them how they can?
Sure. So you can always send us a DM on either, Instagram, Facebook. You can also email us at overfillthepodcast@gmail.com. I feel like most people send us DMs, but email is nice too, because you can send attachments. So what we actually love is when if you could actually take a video selfie. It doesn't have to be anything formal. And just give us a shout out like, hey, this is an issue I've been having, or this is a topic I've been having. If you have images of a case, amazing. If you don't, that's okay. Like, sometimes you don't have an anterior segment camera or whatever. If you have topographies, awesome. We just want to engage with you. So, send us your cases, send us a topic, send us a video, and we'll put you on the show. And honestly, I've learned a lot just being on this podcast with you guys. I mean, I've learned a lot from you two, forever, my whole career. But then we'll talk about a topic and it's like, man, I should know that, but I've never heard that ever. So then I take that away and I act like I always knew it. I'm just joking.
Right.
No, like, cause even just talking over a case with you guys, it's like, wow, I wouldn't have even thought about that when I was looking at that OCT. So now maybe I should be looking at that more. So it actually has made my fits better over the past year. So thanks, guys.
So
and then I'll take the credit for being such a good fitter when really it's you guys in the background.
Yeah, it takes a village,
Oh, yeah.
and like our pooled experiences do provide a lot for us, and be able to provide feedback for everybody. Again, the best way to maybe like find out what's going on with us is through Instagram, and that's overfilled underscore the podcast, right? I think, Jason. And so we update that a lot, and so that's a great way to message us, and then we can direct you to email or whatever. And so go ahead and go find us, and we'd love to hear from you. Again, whether it's a case, and even if you don't have a case and you just want to know more about a certain topic, we'd love to bring that on to the show and share it with everyone.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, we are on Spotify as well, if you don't always have the time to watch. And if you are listening to us on Spotify and you want to watch instead, we are also on YouTube as well. So you can find us either place for full episodes. But absolutely, I mean, send us your cases, send us a video, and we'll put you in our lecture. You'll get to be up on the stage with us at GSLS next year when we present the cases from this year at the lecture. And so we want you to present us with questions or cases that are cool, and we'll talk about them.
Yeah. I'll wrap us up with one funny story. So I have a resident in the clinic, and she's been able to go to a few different, like the GPLI residents meeting and a few other things. And she recently got back from some resident event. And she said that she was on the airplane, like looking for something to listen to, and she happened to be going through Spotify. And of course, like not of course, but our podcast happened to come up.
Of course.
And she's like, why are you everywhere? She's like, everybody knew you at the GPLI thing. And now I go to my phone and your face is on my Spotify. She's like, everywhere. But anyway, glad to see that the algorithm is working a little bit.
There you go. Love it.
Were you like, of course, it's because I'm Brooke Messer and I'm famous.
Right.
So anyway, we're going to try and record weekly podcasts. So watch for us next Friday.
Yep. And send us your cases. All right. Good to see you guys.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.